Welcome back. We're still having this conversation, how to or not to set the tone for your spouse in your family. Sean had something to say.
Oh, what I would say basically is most relationships, it's just a balancing act. It's more or less like rolling the dice.
Yeah.
If we're telling a man to set the tone, he can set the tone all day long. But it's always about what his family takes away from it, you know, and the resentment will come from, okay, she's starting to influence our son. You know, that's a very important part. That's a very, you know, very sensitive part of the relationship where you're trying to introduce her to the family, you're telling her the ground rules, and okay, this is how we do it here. Like the lady who called from London saying, you know, she was told to go do the laundry. Some ladies wouldn't mind doing it, but if the man now comes back and tells his family, no one should tell my wife X, Y, Z, they start to see influence. They say, okay, she's got a hold on him, you know. And from an African standpoint, you know, there are lots to that story. But from a global point of view, it's always about, oh, there is influence here. Our son has changed, our brother has changed, my nephew has changed. There are lots of things. What influence does she have on the man in question? But
like an obvious couple, because of where you're from, is the Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Your favorite.
You know, I like to highlight them every time in conversation. Is he's setting a tone that they feel is not part of their family tradition, and she is also setting her boundaries. And I mean, we know the word
getting the respect for herself.
That's a very good good example. So for Harry, even when his mum was here, you know, bless her soul, it was also a very tricky business with Diana, you know, Lady Diana. It was, you know, God bless her. But it all depends on what sort of family. You know, the royal family globally is an institution, even in the UK, where the crown comes first. You know, the crown is the most important part of the institution. And if you're marrying into that family, into the institution or the crown, it's a totally different kettle of fish where
expectations.
Harry in question is bound by the crown. You know, and if you're a lady who's attached to him, like Meghan Markle, the actor, it's just sad to see it play out. The entire family is in global view, so the public has an opinion, but there are family rules based on the crown. So it was tough for her to get in, and but now there is a friction between Harry and Williams. There's a friction between Harry and Kate. You know. But
they will be fine
in that dynamic.
As long as they are alive,
they will be fine.
one day.
Let's take this call.
Hopefully.
We have Emeka from Kaduna. Good morning, Emeka. Emeka, are you there? We don't have Emeka yet.
Okay, so I was going to, you know, I totally agree with Uwe on today's episode. In fact, I'm aligning fast along but there's also the in-laws wisdom. You know, so when
IQ.
Person, it's and IQ may wisdom join, you know, in how they see their sister, the new sister, found sister now, in this case. For instance, the example she gave of setting the boundary and her husband setting the boundary and she had to correct it. So let's assume a woman always likes her in-laws well taken care of. Sit down, she's hosting them, she's doing so much, you know. You must know the time to be kind to assist. Don't get so comfortable you forget it. I have this perfect situation I saw where the woman has it all put together. She gets her workers, she gets her cooks when they come in. Even though they have plenty differences, she's hosting them. And one time, the cleaners had left. Everybody had left. The in-laws were having a ball. She was serving them. She had made food. She had made pepper soup. Each time they ate, they flung the plate.
Because they're used to being taken care of.
Same gender. They fling the plate with their kids in attendance. You know, and we see this, because I like to localize the examples. We see this Yawole thing, seriously abused, and Yawole in Islam is called the mistress of the home. She's the unifier. She's not in any, you know, it's like
she's not the house help of the home.
A business where you have the queen, whose role is beyond just, you know, it's
just
so strong to bring the family together. You can't then overburden. Everybody must carry on a role, which is what we apply where I'm from, in my own family. And I see this lady who's always done hosting. We were just there, Ilea, you know. Her cooks finished cooking at 7. Immediately they leave. If there's anybody still eating, that person knows to clear up.
Wisdom.
Because if you leave that woman to continue working at 7, she will not be smiling, hosting you. That wisdom and acumen should apply across board. But the moment you now ask children who are not toddlers to finish eating and go and
Dump
give
their plates.
the plates, and she's complaining that, okay, you people have used the house with the tents, I need to clear it, and you're seated, you're so comfortable, and then you go into sleep and you ask why she's not smiling in the morning. She then swear for her. Of course, you're not going to be invited again.
Of course.
Or if you ever show up, she would be guarding herself.
The approach will be different. It'll be different
As Miriam said, we are family. You must understand when you need to step in to assist, to help, you know, and continue to make easy for that unifier.
Yeah. Let me take this call. Chinedu from Ikeja. Good morning, Chinedu. Chinedu, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I just want to add something to this conversation. I like what the lady sitting directly opposite
Oui?
Woman. There was an instance she gave where her husband he told the mother not to use the kitchen, the wife's kitchen and all of that. And she came in and she realized that was like a setup. Unknown to the husband, but it was a setup for the wife. If she had, danced into the tune, and the wife would have taken that as a no-no. She would accuse the lady that she was the one that set the rule. Meanwhile, it was the husband that was like setting the rules. So, in as much as it is important for the man who is taking the wife to set some certain rules or tones, but I think it's important that we be careful. We try to be careful in the tones we are setting, so that we don't set our wife off by taking her to the home, because I think it's better sometimes, because we are all human beings. Sometimes we just leave people to coexist, to try to find a way around their relationship, because this is the new wife coming into the home, and she needs to catch up with the siblings of the man and the parents. So you can't set up, because in my setup is a tone that this is my wife, I don't want anybody to send her around. If you are not there, and everybody already knows that the husband don't want anybody to send the wife, and maybe your own mother is found maybe washing something, and your wife is just sitting there. Anybody that comes in, even if it's a neighbor, will just perceive your wife as a bad person. And meanwhile, this was the kind of tone you set. So I think it's a very sensitive topic.
Thank you very much. So let's not forget that they are actually bad families. Yes. Let's not act like we don't see it. They are bad families, and they are good families. They are families that the man, the son that was raised in that family by maybe providence, became a good person, and he understands what his mother and his sisters can do. He has seen it growing up.
Brothers.
Brothers. He has seen it growing up, what they did to all the wives that came in, all the husbands that came in. And in his wisdom, he decides to protect his spouse from his family. Is that wrong?
No, it's not.
It's not about changing his family.
How do you change?
Hold on.
How do you change?
Hold on. You know I still practice law. I did a will recently of a woman. In fact, sadly, it was my tribe. This man overprotected her, and he passed. The toxicity, she couldn't deal with it.
They're not bad.
No. My dad did something. I told you yesterday that my tribe will do burials out of land, we waste at burials. And he went round, taking his time to his kith and kin. I choose to be exempted from this tradition and practice. Exempt my kids.
Interesting.
So how about telling them, this nonsense, this thing, it good for your eye. Not do it for my side, though. Make on not do them again. You people should stop it.
What or are you even talking to? Your parents?
Your parents.
Your aunties?
Your parents.
No, but that's
do you know who
battle,
survived my dad? Do you know who survived my dad?
Nyma, hold on.
My dad was survived. My dad's uncle, the head of family, survived him.
Okay.
And when he died, I picked the phone and said, are we bringing daddy home? Or can we bury him in Lagos? He said, go ahead. He had told me. And that's very culture and tradition. Your parents are not, now you get your parents. Now you fit tell your parents say they have done something wrong. Imagine your wife saying, mommy did something wrong. It will be considered a sacrilege. But imagine their son saying, no, mommy, this is wrong.
Yes. So let me tell you something. Let me add something a little, right? Their sons and daughters, maybe by how they were raised, who cannot stand and look to their parents and say no. Do you agree that we have them?
Yes.
We have them.
Why not they born goats? If your parents be lion, now you go tell them. No, you can't be a goat and be the son of the lion.
Husbands who could not look to their father or their mother to say what you're doing is wrong. They cannot. They will just go behind and grumble. And they marry. And they raise their own children. So if you have such a wicked family already, bad family already, and you cannot look to them to say what you're doing is wrong and all that. So what do you protect your own wife?
In that case, you might estrange your children from their cousins. At the end of the day, they divide family. You yourself. See, you have to be the lion if your father is a lion. Look the lion in the eye and say, we know they shot this goat.
Is it a living rat than a dead lion? Have you heard that?
Yes, a living rat than a dead
lion. Oh, now your parents want lion kill their rats.
No, have you heard that? So we have heard of situations because of how toxic it is that children have left home. I know of people who, when they're going home to visit their family, they'll say to the wife, we're not sleeping over. The children should know we're not sleeping over.
Yes.
Because of some of the things that they know can happen. Or my father is likely to say this, or my mother is likely. Please don't respond.
But you're
just for my sake.
Yes. You're saying it with your wife, not with your family.
Yes. No, auntie, that's what I'm talking about. Because you already understand that this place, the only way to survive this place is to give it space.
You yourself don't break it.
But yes, I've broken away, and the reason that you see who you see today is because I've had to do a lot of work on myself, and I'm going to protect you. But we're still going to give them the respect that they deserve. We will visit them, we'll show up. But these are the things that you might find. So we can never sleep there. We can, please, there's some things that they may say to you. Don't respond. I know it will make you really angry, but please don't respond, and then we'll leave. So these are, for me, I feel that these are extreme situations. You know, not many families are like that. Yes, a very peculiar one. So I don't think that is the
general.
The general, exactly.
Yeah. But let's take this call. I'll come back to you, Miriam. We have Patrick from Kaduna. Good morning, Patrick.
Hello.
Good morning. We can hear you.
Yeah. Madam, I'm Patrick.
I said Patrick.
Yeah. You see, I'm very interested on this year program. Can you please believe that women organizations, women friends lead problem to the family?
Women friends.
The women problem, the women friends that come to
friends and influence.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Good. The women meet friends, coordinating, seeing things happening, even seeing things happening on TV, they roll it into their living and makes a man to be brutal. It wasn't how it started. But what they see is sometimes what they coordinate, what they don't prefer that it is best to them, they want to be like that. All fingers are not equal. If you really come to marriage, you don't need to look outside. Whatever you see there, you feel it. We're not talking about beating anybody, or a man beating wife, beating up and down here. There must be a problem why you see a man beating a woman.
Wow. Cool. Thank you, Patrick.
It's not allowed.
Before we go back to Miriam, what I would say is marriage and globally is an institution where it's not a walk in the park. You know, and you can't, marriage doesn't have a timeline where you're saying, oh yes, I'm doing this business. It's not like a business deal. It's not like an endorsement deal where, you know, the lifespan of that. It's something you're dedicating your entire existence to. So it's an institution that you learn of it on a daily, you give to it, you take from it. So there's a lot to it. And with that being said, despite you setting the tone, you could be setting the tone to individuals who are tone deaf. You could be. You know, they're tone deaf to whatever you're saying. And like you said initially, there are families, you know, where you're fighting a totally different beast, where you're trying to change a family, where there's been generations, decades, if not a century, of a tradition where they're stuck with their old ways. Now, in her case, finding your sanity is unplugging from that family. You have to be sane to fix any issue.
True.
So you must find your peace, find your level of sanity. And once they notice that distancing, that void, that space, they start to read the writings on the wall. The family will start to take a cue from it and say, well, Miriam is no longer coming. Well, mom and dad, you guys know why she no longer comes for family meetings. Because they start to look inwards. That's why, for me, I think one of the greatest inventions of man is a mirror. The mirror would give you your reflection. So if Miriam is saying, I need my sanity and peace, and anyone in my tiny circle, I must educate them on what my family is like. So you know, sanity and peace of mind comes first. If you're sane, if you're in the right mind, and just like the lady said, she's taking time to walk on herself. Now going back to that family, it's a totally different beast entirely. So set the tone all day long, they're tone deaf. They're stuck in their ways,
Sean,
but it's subject to change.
Have you attended a burial where you see so much disrespect for the dead, even though the person lived well, was extremely kind?
That's
you
heartbreaking.
Wonder, how heartbreaking that can be. That's why it's important to try when you're there. You've protected the woman, you even put in a will, but you also owed certain people. In this case I handled, he also owed members of that family certain things which he also provided.
Interesting.
Now, a respectful relationship meant that they must find the middle ground to work. He left kids who were provided for, who must find an auntie to call an auntie on his side. But he thought, let me overprotect because I'm married outside the tribe. And this woman, she was so heartbroken when she sat before me, and I kept explaining to her that give it a few years, this can change overnight. But she couldn't see the possibility. The husband was, had told her this, and she didn't ever have to try, to make a middle ground. She didn't, and even her kindness, they were on the other side just calling it, because of this. They never, some confrontations are better seen, handled,
Do you know,
than
this
avoided.
You have made me remember my own personal story. I didn't want to share it. My dad died, and my mom took us away. And it was important that she did. Maybe it would have been easier for her if we stayed with her in-laws, if they were able to help. But it was important for her to protect us, to continue in the way that her husband wanted her to protect the children. So sometimes you will step away.
It's
at the cost of maybe life is not going to be easy. You may not know your cousins or your aunties. But one thing about life, the truth will reveal itself and people will adjust. But we need
that was paramount.
That was what she needed to do, and I appreciate her for this. There were times people would say, why are you carrying this all on your own when you could have, And she said one of the things that they wanted, so obviously during the marriage, she wasn't so accepted. But when he died, they wanted her to give one child to them and stay with one child. And then at the holidays, you exchange children. And she says, how do they lose their father and then lose each other? So that means they would never meet. But because I need the help to help raise these children, then I will do that. She didn't. She didn't.
So she walked away from a paycheck.
She walked away from anything. And today, here we are. So sometimes, and that's why I say these are extreme cases, sometimes you walk away. It may look like disrespect at the time, but your mental health, your sanity is so important. Your children that you're trying to raise is important. But sometimes she was, the other day, just recently we were talking, she was like, I wonder what would have happened if I left you with them. I was like, those filling stations would have been the filling station attendants. Very sure.
You may not even be close to her today.
Yes,
you may not be. And let me add this as we're wrapping up so that we can just quickly touch on Sean. Sometimes we assume that we are meant to be in this situation. But everything that happens to us is there's no coincidence, there's no accident. If you're meant to have a relationship with your cousins, you will find yourselves. If you're not meant to have a relationship with those cousins, there's nothing you can do about it. Even if you stay in that family, you will not have that relationship. I was raised in Idiogbe, like we talked about yesterday, family house. And today I don't have a relationship with my cousins. And we were all raised together. We grew up together. But today, we don't have that relationship. So it's not about being in that space that is toxic for you. If it's not good for your mental health, find your way out of it. But I would have loved that we touched on character. Because what I see is sometimes we assume that people, like Mariam was saying, that you would have thought that this is common sense. Not everybody has that common sense. Not everybody was raised to understand that when they see you in the morning, they will greet you. Not everybody was raised to understand that when they finish eating their meal, they will wash their dishes. You meet people every day and you realize that these things that I took for granted, that mommy was always telling me or daddy was always telling me, these people don't know it. It's a big deal for many people. So how do we help? This is a question that we don't have time to take. People build their character as families, as in-laws, as parents, as you're raising children, as wives that are going to homes. How do you build your character in such a way that you're a good human being? So I think we'll answer this question on another day. Sean, what's going on with you?
There's a lot's been going on. There are two things I'm remarkably excited for. Is I have a team of IT experts. They're developing an app that would serve not just this part of the globe, the entire African hemisphere, but the globe at large. But we'll be starting in 6 major cities: Lagos, Johannesburg, Accra, Ghana, Abuja. A couple of cities around Africa will be starting there. But it's a project that would empower, my generation, the youths. It would create jobs. I'm just excited for it. It's been in the works I've been at it for like 2.5 years now, and it's looking really good. It's an app that would create jobs, serve a massive need, and change the dynamic of how we do business across the entire African hemisphere.
What's the app about? What's
Or is it still sports related, media related?
It's a good question. Very good question. It's just going to be serving the entire public, and I'm still in conversations with my execs, so the executives, and they wanted to keep it on a hush hush for now.
Non-disclosure.
We're still, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, paperwork from the paperwork standpoint, but the IT team, it's good to go. We've run a few tests on it abroad, and it's looking good. The other part of it is, politics.
Okay.
Sean is getting into politics. With this accent.
Wait now. Government restrictions.
Wait. Please tell us about politics.
So I think politics and social media, show business all in one box. Talk about character. We have to keep educating ourselves on daily issues, daily topics. I think we have to be more involved. I think the younger generation globally, we need to understand and see politics too from a different lens. So we're backing on something that would redefine how the younger generation sees politics and understands it.
Yeah, how about the media space? You used to be on radio, talking sports. Are you still interested in that?
100% still very much involved in it. I've done, massive projects for TV and radio. I'm still very much broadcast. I'm a broadcaster first before any other thing, but I'm still very much in it. I've, done projects in the UK, the States, and on some, I'm still a big part of this family. CBS is still a major part of my family.
I know a lot of people would be curious to know, where are you from? Your parents, where are they from?
Where are you presently?
Okay, so
Max FM?
Max FM, is still very much my family. Where I'm from, I'd like to say I'm a global citizen. My dad passed in 2021, but half of us are in the UK, half of us, and some of us are in the States, and some of us still.
Where was that from?
We have to go.
On another day, we'll touch on that.
Thank you so much, Sean Amadi, for joining the ladies to discuss, and thank you, ladies, for your wisdom and the wisdom IQ that we brought on the conversation today. I hope you guys have learned as much as we have. I will see you again tomorrow. Your View Pigeon is going to be live tomorrow.
Yes.
We break it. We're going to be live tomorrow. So see you again. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Sure.
Bye.